Hello everyone, I would like to welcome you to my presentation on the letter to the young women of Malolos. As we delve into the insightful words of this enlightening antique letter, I hope to impart valuable information that would benefit us all in our pursuit of knowledge and wisdom. And I'm excited to share with you the significant historical documents that sheds light on the pursuit of women's rights and feminist movements in the Philippines. But before proceeding, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Apple G. Ongayo. Thank you for joining me today. And without further ado, let's take a closer look to the essential piece of history together. Okay, so our topic for today's discussion is all about the letter to the young women of Malolos. Jose Rizal's legacy to Filipino women is embodied in his famous essay entitled To the Young Women of Malolos, where he addresses all kinds of women, mothers, wives, the unmarried, etc., and expresses everything that he wishes them to keep in mind. Jose Rizal was greatly impressed by the fighting spirit that the young women of Malolos had shown. So his letter is his own way of recognition for them as brave Filipinas, who are no longer blinded by the fraud religious belief brought by the friars. So in his letter class, he expresses great joy and satisfaction over the battle they had fought. So on December 12, 1888, a group of 20 women of Malolos petitioned Governor General Weyler for permission to open a night school so that they may study Spanish under Theodore Sandico. So, adtong December 12, 1888, na ay 20 kababay sa Malolos nag-file og petition ni Governor General Weyler nga mag-open og night school for them to study Spanish language because they believe that the knowledge of the language would give them more opportunities in terms of education and employment. So, maong gina-fight yun nila ang katungod sa edukasyon. This petition class was a milestone in the Philippine history because it challenged the prevailing notion that women were not entitled to education or social participation. So it was a bold move for the women to demand their rights to education, especially during a time when women were expected to be submissive and passive. So, when we say submissive class, means sunod-sunuran. So, motong wala sila ga-expect nga mo fight for the rights, mo stand for the rights ang mga kababayan sa una, kay abi nila o magsunod-sunod ra mga kababayan sa una, abi nila mga taslakan, pero karon dili na. Ning fight gid sila silang katungod nga deserve po nila ang education. But Father Felipe Garcia, a Spanish parish priest in Malolos, objected. So, naagyod gihapoy ning putol no silang petition nga gina-fight. But the young women courageously sustained their agitation for the establishment of the school. So wala gid sila ning surrender. Gifight gid nila ilang katungod sa education. They then presented a petition to Governor Weyler asking that they should be allowed to open a night school. Okay. So, in the end, the request was granted on the condition that Señorita Guadalupe Reyes should be their teacher. Okay, so nagyoy condition gihapon day, no? So, praising these young women for their bravery, Marcelo H. Del Pilar requested Rizal to write a letter commending them for their extraordinary courage. So, we all know for a fact that in the past, young women were uneducated, right? Because of the principle that they would soon be wives and the primary career is to take care of the home and their children. So, motor, tuo nila nga, ang mga babae manggod sa una is ilang pagtuo is tig kuan rag balay, nara sa balay, o tigbantay ra sa ilang mga anak. Muna ilaang, sa ito na ay, muna ilang belief sa una, ilang mga tinuuhan sa una. But in this letter, Rizal yearns that women should be granted the same opportunities given to men in terms of education. But karon is equal na. Babae, laki, tigaan og edukasyon. So please take note guys that this letter is originally written in Tagalog. Rizal composed this letter on February 22, 1889 when he was in London in response to the request of Del Pilar. Okay, so now let's proceed to the most important one or salient points contained in this letter to the young women of Malolos. So first, the rejection of the spiritual authority of the friars. So not all of the priests in the country at that time embodied the true spirit of Christ and his church. Okay, so most of them were corruptive by worldly desires and used worldly methods to effect change and force discipline among the people. So one of the salient points of the letter is that it rejected the spiritual authority of the friars. So the letter is basically stating that the friars were using their spiritual authority for their own worldly gain and not for the betterment of the people they were supposed to serve. Okay, so the second salient point is the defense of private judgment. The defense of private judgment class, it refers to the idea that every individual has the right, has the right to think for themselves, to form their own opinions, and to make their own decisions about their lives. So in the context of the letter to the young women of Malolos class, this idea was particularly important. Why? Because it was written during a time when women's voices and opinions were often silenced or ignored. So, wala ginadungog ilang tingog, no? By emphasizing the importance of private judgment, the letter encourages women to speak up, to think critically, and assert their own identities and goals. So, una, ginadidma ang pag-voice out sa kababainhan, no? Wala nila gi-prioritize og unsa ang um, mga mga hinanaing sa mga kababainhan sa una. So, the third salient points is that qualities Filipino mothers need to possess as evidenced by the Filipino children and the homes the growth is portion of his letters. So Rizal is greatly concerned of the welfare up in. Okay. So, in these silent points, the letter to the young women of Malolos discusses the qualities that Filipino mothers should possess, in order to raise successful and happy children and create a healthy homes. So from Rizal's perspectives class, these qualities include love, patience, kindness, generosity, cleanliness, and good morals. So he also emphasizes the importance of education, both for mothers and for their children, and encourages women to be strong role models for their families and communities. So next, let's proceed to the fourth salient point. So duties and responsibilities of Filipino mothers to their children. Okay, so the letter also outlines the specific duties and responsibilities that Filipino mothers have towards their children. This includes teaching their children basic life skills such as cooking and cleaning, and instilling in them values like honesty, responsibility, and respect for others. So mothers are also expected to be supportive and nurturing, to provide emotional and physical care for their children, and to strive to create a safe and an uplifting living environment. So the letter underscores the vital role that women play in shaping their children's futures and in building a strong and prosperous Filipino society. So the fifth salient points, duties and responsibilities of a wife to her husband. Rizal states in this portion of his letter how Filipino women ought to be as wives in order to preserve the identities of the race. Okay, so in this part of the letter, Rizal is advising young Filipino women on how they should behave, and fulfill their duties as wives in order to preserve the identity of the Filipino people. So he emphasizes the importance of being faithful, obedient, and affectionate to their husbands, but also advises them to maintain their own sense of self-worth and dignity. So this section of the letter reflects Rizal's ideals of harmonious and mutually respectful relationships between husband and wife. So the last salient points, counsel to young women on their choice of a lifetime partner. So in this section of the letter class, Rizal advises young women on how to choose a suitable partner for marriage. He encourages them to look for a partner who shares their values and beliefs, no? And who is supportive of their education and personal growth. So Rizal also emphasizes the importance of choosing a partner who is of good character and morality rather than someone who is only interested in wealth or social status. So this section reflects Rizal's belief that marriage should be based on mutual love, respect, and compatibility rather than external factors like status or wealth. Okay, so diri is dili lang kay gihugugma nimo ang usa ka tawo tungod dato, kundi gigugma nimo siya kay tungod gugmaan gyud ka og pure imong intention sa iya. Dili kay tungod dato siya, so moong gilab na ko siya kay dato siya ani dili ko mapas mo, so no, dili na maayo, no? So dapat love mo siya without kanang gabasi nga abi kay dato or unsa na. Love din mo siya tungod kay gugmaan gud kaniya. So ana ra na siya. So now let's proceed to the qualities of Filipino mothers. So Rizal enumerates the qualities Filipino mothers have to possess. So first, be a noble wife. That woman must be decent and dignified, submissive, tender, and loving to their respective husband. So in short, dapat loyal ta nga pagkaasawa para dili ta bulagan og bana. Pero ug uyab pa mo, dapat loyal ka sa imong uyab para dili ka lisdan og silingan. So ana ra na siya, guys. So loyal lang. Second, rear her children in the service of the state. Here Rizal gives reference to the women of Sparta who embody this quality. Mothers should teach their children to love God, country, and fellow men. So, third, set standards of behavior for men around her. 3 things that a wife must instill in the mind of her husband: activity and industry, noble behavior, and worthy sentiments. Inasmuch as the wife is the partner of her husband's hearts and misfortune, Rizal stress on the following advices to a married woman: aid her husband, share his perils, refrain from causing him worry, and sweeten his moments of affliction. So, as a husband and wife, dapat magsinabtan na imong duha. Dapat na amoy instant communication with each other, you have respect with each other, and most importantly is you love truly each other, and be a good role model to your children. So muna siya. So Rizal also points out to unmarried women they should not be easily taken by appearance and looks because this can very deceiving. Instead, they should take head of men's firmness of character and lofty ideas. Okay, so kani, mora ba ni usa sa mga sakit nato, girls, no? Dali rata mo fall sa appearance and looks kay gwapo, pution sa padira, which is dili day na maayo para ni Rizal di ay, girls. Dapat gyud dili ta magbase sa physical look sa usa ka lalaki, dapat sa batasan gyud kay mag-unsa man ang gwapo, pution, pero dili ka balo mubugha og kahoy, mapas mo ta ana, wala ta ikasugnod. So maimpat adto ta sa lalaking dili kayo gwapo pero naalang nawong pero kabalo tanan trabaho, no? Kabalo mo buhig pamilya, di ba? So girls, dili ta magbase sa physical looks, ha? Magbase ta sa kinaiya ug sa pagkakugihan. Okay, so now Rizal further adds that there are 3 things that a young woman must look for a man she intends to be her husband. O kane. So first, we have a noble and honored name. So as a woman, we should choose a man with a good reputation and respected background. So dapat lang yun, no? So second, a manly heart. As a woman pod, we should choose a man who is brave, strong, and protective toward his loved ones, nga kayat ng protektahan, di ta baliwalaon o kitay magkinaunsa, right? So the third one is a high spirit incapable of being satisfied with endearing slaves, a man who has a strong sense of ambition and a desire to achieve more in life. So ayaw dili ta ng lalaking walay plano sa kinabuhi, no? So ato ta sa lalaking naatay future, ana man na siya. So in summary of this report, there are 5 major points. So first, Filipino mothers should teach their children love of God, country, and fellow men. So as a mother puhon, It is very important nga tuluan nato atong mga anak sa pagigugma sa Ginoo kay siya ang naghatag sa ato ang kinabuhi. Dayon ug wala ang gugma sa Ginoo, wala kita diri karon sa kalibutan. Importante sad nga tuluan nato sila og paghigugma sa atong nasod ug sa ato ang kapwa-tao, no, to promote a strong sense of community among Filipinos. So the second, Filipino mothers should be glad and honored like Spartan mothers to offer their sons in defense of their country. So, it highlights the importance of patriotism and protecting our homeland. So, importante sad kay na nga natay ingon ana nga panghuna-huna nga andam ta mo serbisyo sa ato ang bansang sinilangan. So the third one is Filipino women should know how to protect their dignity and honor. Kani importante kini no, as a woman dapat jud dili ta padaog-daog. We should fight our worth and protect our honor and dignity as a Filipino woman. No, dapat dili ta magpa-abuso kung kanang di ta magpa-abuso, di ta magpa-api-api, no. Walay dapat mo api sa ato. Mo fight ta. Fourth, Filipino women should educate themselves aside from retaining their good racial values. So, education and retaining good values are both important for personal growth and progress. So, the last one, faith is not merely reciting prayers and wearing religious pictures, kani. It is living the real Christian way with good morals and manners. So, ang tinuod nga gaserbisyo sa Ginoo class is dili basihan nga pirmi kag ampo-ampo, luhod-luhod sa simbahan, daghan kag mga unsa kwintas nga pangginoo, pero di ay imong binuhatan espiritu kadautan. Ang tinuod nga gamahal ug bingtuo sa Ginoo class is naay maayong pamatasan sa iyang isig katawo. Mo nay tinuod nga ning serbisyo sa Ginoo. Useless imong ampo-ampo if wala kay maayong connection sa imong kapwa-tao, dili ka kabalo makighalubilo ug wala kay dili maayo mong pakikitungo sa imong isig katawo. So, this letter is an important symbol of the fight against colonial oppression and the struggle for women's rights and empowerment. So, it highlights the importance of education in advancing the status of women and encouraging them to take an active role in shaping their own destiny. So, today, the letter to the young women of Malolos remains a source of inspiration for women everywhere who are fighting for equality and justice. It is a reminder that women have always played an important role in shaping history and that their voices and experiences must be heard and valued. Thank you for listening to my discussion. I hope you learned a lot in my topic. So thank you again and have a good day. Bye!